Ladies and gentlemen, get out your pitchforks and light up your torch because Frontier just nerfed your game. I kid, but not really. There has been some changes that has happened here in the latest update of Planet Coaster. So in update 1.13, there's a lot of cool stuff. I was reading this, came home from work, and I was like, all right, sweet, new flat ride. And then I got down to this point right here. Live data stats changed from acceleration to actual G-force, factoring in gravity. I'm like, oh, sweet. So 0 G's is actually now 0 G's. However, there's another line down here. Airtime scoring has had minor tweaks, moving airtime bonus from being measured by acceleration into actual G-forces. So what's this mean? Well, first off, this means that I have 3 tutorials that are all about G-forces because they're a major part in this game as far as how stuff goes. So I'm going to attach these hopefully to all these videos, which is the Make Airtime Hills tutorial, the Maximum G-Force Guide, and the Reverse Banking tutorial. This is hopefully going to update all of those because we live in a modern world where one update can fundamentally change the way how you play a game, and this is one of those updates. However, you'll see after my little example here that I will probably be revisiting this in the future again because they'll probably make another change to it. So first and foremost, the big news. All of these roller coasters right here, this is the same test I've run to figure out of reverse banking. You used to be able to reverse bank roller coasters and get huge excitement out of it. But as we can see right here, this is the NERF, right? 4.5 excitement and 4.51, 4.53, 4.57, 4.61. It is going up, 4.66. Oh, 4.71. Now, if we take a look at the vertical G-force right here, what's happening is that we're now seeing that roller coasters in their static form right here, they're not moving up in the air. If Z-axis is from the ground straight up, these are now 1G because they're not moving up or down. However, our heat map is now showing a negative 2.38 G's over here. However, that has basically no effect on the excitement rating. You simply get some more excitement rating because you're changing, I believe, your lateral G's or something like that. It really isn't affecting the same way that reverse banking used to happen. You used to be able to get negative 1 G from reverse banking because that was your roller coaster acceleration. However, although they're showing you a heat map which is actual G-force, it's misleading. Okay, so that's how I'm going to put it. It's misleading because you have 1G over here, which is measuring your Z-axis, how fast up and down you're going, and you'll see that this game uses that to determine excitement in the other example. However, when you go around a corner right there, you're now producing a negative G. However, that isn't scored as excitement because it's using the actual G-force from the Z-axis, which is from your ground and up, right? Does that make sense? So reverse banking in general has just been nerfed as of this patch. So if you can't remember anything else, just remember that. So one of my rides here, for example, this ride right here, this is probably my best ride, my biggest ride. This is the Orion 8 full right there. So its excitement rating is now 7.45 because it has a little bit of a reverse banking right here, which I used to keep the excitement ratings up a little bit. So that right there is 7.45. It used to be 8.01. Now, if you go down to my blueprints or just actually any of your blueprints, I dare you to open up any of your blueprints, actually put it down in your park and then test it, and you'll see that the numbers have changed. None of these are accurate anymore as of this update. Another reason why I might be revisiting this sometime in the near future. So if we go to my roller coaster that was based all around reverse banking, which was my Arctic Rush, you can see the excitement rating there was 8.26. So if I go ahead and place this down in my park and then run it through a cycle, watch what happens to this poor roller coaster. Oh no! If you look at the excitement rating, yeah, you can see its numbers are like, well, this used to all be green. It was nothing but green. And now look at it. Oh, it's so poor. It's now a 6.07. Ooh, that was rough. Reverse banking, totally nerfed. let's move on to the other example, which is Airtime Hills. Still exists, but there has been some changes. All right, so here we are in my Airtime Hill example park. Now, if you remember from my tutorial, which was this one right down here, if you ever watched that one, this shape that I gave you right here was all revolving around the idea of trying to make your roller coaster get as close to -1 G. Old school G, -1 roller coaster effective G, whatever the heck we're calling that now. It was how close you could get to -1 was your golden number. That was an easy guide, but now that number is 0. But there's a catch. If you go underneath 0 and get positive at all, you lose your airtime bonus. Okay, so it's how close can you get to the edge without going under, I guess. Right? So if you look at vertical G, just to show you what's up here, this roller coaster starts to produce 0.06 G right there. Look at that, some negative. And this is 0.1 negative G. So you are floating, you're actually slightly floating out of your seat at this point. And that in turn produces lots of excitement. Look at that number, a 10.62. Still good. Definitely good. We'll see that on a lot of roller coasters. If you are above 1 G previously, now being just above 0 is going to be sweet. However, you see right here, 0.14 G right there, just barely. Now, previously, that still would have given you tons of excitement, but now look at it. It falls right off. So that's the biggest change to Airtime Hills overall, is that you don't want to become positive right there because you lose your airtime completely. So if you look at Airtime Count, you actually have 3 on this roller coaster, because you're actually going in and out of airtime here. That makes sense? So this roller coaster over here is the other example that I was trying to look at, which was trying to go back to -1 G. I wanted to make sure that -1 G didn't maintain because they changed the way that stuff worked. Because -1 G used to be like the golden number, but now it's 0. So this one is negative the entire way. And what we can see is that the excitement is still good and throughout the entire way. So you want to make sure that you are keeping negative G's, but you want to get as close to 0 as possible, right? So if what I'm saying is true, if I make this hill in general taller, it should reduce that G-force closer to 0, which should make some of these numbers go higher, right? Let's go ahead and give this a test just to see what happens. I'm just going to increase it a little bit, and then I'm going to run another test through it. All right, so here comes the roller coaster. 8.17, 10.09, 11.31. Yeah, that did work a little bit. So I'm going to move it up a little bit more. We're going to let it run again. All right, so this should be a little bit closer to 0. 8.15, 10.15, 11.36. And as we can see here, the vertical G is now getting closer to actual 0 G right there. And one more test right there, and we can see that the numbers continue to increase. So you can see why I'm saying that I might end up revisiting this topic once again, because previously you used to have a safe zone right around what would now be considered 0 G, which you don't have that anymore. So that might end up being a future change. What also might end up happening is that we might actually have both vertical G forces to more accurately show you what's going on in the corners. Because right now, if you were to measure the corners, it's quite inaccurate compared to what it's trying to calculate, if that makes sense. You really can't use negative G's in a corner very effectively to determine what sort of excitement you're going to get out of that. So the tool has become both more accurate and less accurate with this last update. Now, to show you one more practical example, if you remember this roller coaster I made with all Airtime Hills. However, a couple of them were a little bit more aggressive. They used to have more negative G's. So what we're going to see here is this excitement rating is 8.42 starting off, and we can see the results here is Airtime Count of 17. Let's go ahead and see what happens as this moves throughout its entire track. Looking at the heat map, which is vertical G's, you can see these numbers are now changing as the roller coaster moves past it. See how that went positive right there? And you can watch this on your roller coasters in any park that you had previously to this sort of release. And you can see the excitement there went up. So if you have a park that you haven't run since this update, you can go ahead and do that, and you can see how things change, and you might have to tweak your roller coaster just a little bit here to get closer to that 0 G if you are looking for that perfect Airtime Hill. Also, if you have roller coasters that are now dependent or were dependent on the reverse banking thing, then this update's really going to hurt you. So there you have it, guys. Those were the details I was able to uncover about the changes to G-forces per the update 1.13. Now, if there's changes in the future, I'll go ahead and revisit this if, however that all works out. If you are all geared up and ready to go fight the good fight on the forums, hopefully I have given you some knowledge to go ahead and fight that good fight. If you're one of those people that just got smashed as far as your roller coaster ratings, maybe that made you angry. If you thought reverse banking was broken, well, you might be rejoicing because now it's pretty much nerfed completely. However, the big thing here I want to say is focusing on that 0 and making sure that you don't end up positive when you try to go negative, because that's certainly going to hurt you. So there you have it. That's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys have found this video somewhat informative or maybe a little bit enjoyable. If you did, maybe leave a like button on the way out. And thank you guys so much for your support lately. It's been absolutely awesome. If I've earned your subscription, then thank you so much for that. I'll see you guys again next time. Stay awesome. Peace. Brothgar out.